the first, as-sabiqeen al-awwaleen, the first of the muhajirun and the ansar, right? And those who follow them, Allah is pleased with them, and they are pleased with Him. But before that declaration of Allah's pleasure, those who follow them has a condition, and that condition is bi ihsan. Those who follow them in excellence. Why? Because they were fallible people. There were Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'een, stories of their sinfulness and their tawbah, for example. A hadith are full of them, where they've committed mistakes, where they've committed sins, and then made tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, including things like, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us, including things like zina, for which the punishment had to be carried out on them among the Sahaba, including things like betrayal of the Muslims, for which they had to make immense tawbah, including having to go through intense periods of kaffara for staying behind from a battle, which is considered to be one of the destructive sins, right? Staying behind. When you're expected to go to battle, it was considered one of the destructive sins. And the Quran speaks about this story. وَعَلَى الثَّلَاثَةِ الَّذِينَ خُلِّفُوا, the three who were left behind, and their story about how before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the acceptance of their tawbah, right? How the world around them had shrunk and they could see no out, right? حتى إذا ضاقت عليهم الأرض بما رحبت, and so on. The Sahaba, among them were those who had to face lashes for drunkenness. But the Prophet ﷺ, the famous story of the man who came into the masjid drunk, he was a companion. The Sahaba cursed him and said harsh words towards him, and the Prophet ﷺ said, no, don't do that to him, for he loves Allah and His Messenger. Sinfulness is part of humanness. Sinfulness is part of humanness. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ said, كُلُّ بَنِي آدَمَ خَطَّاء وَخَيْرُ الْخَطَّائِينَ التَّوَّابُونَ. That all of the children of Adam are sinful, and the best of the sinful are those who make tawbah. Brothers and sisters, not all sins are the same. This is a very important, quick point to add. Not all sins are the same. Some sins are between a man and his Lord, a woman and her Lord, right? بَيْنَ الْعَبْدِ وَبَيْنَ اللَّهِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives them just with tawbah between a man and his servant. And I've spoken extensively about how in these situations when a sin is between a man and his Lord, that our duty, another Muslim's duty towards a person's sinfulness when he finds out about it, is that he must observe satr. If you find out that your brother or your sister, comes to the masjid but privately misses salah, if you find out that your brother or your sister has a bad habit or a bad vice, but it is a private one between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Something that does not harm society, something that does not harm others, something that does not have a victim. Something that does not have a victim, then it is your obligation to give nasihat privately and to make satr, i.e. to cover their sin, cover for them so that nobody else finds out. To cover for them so that nobody else finds out.